Good morning, good evening, and welcome to World of Warships. My name is Robin, and today we are continuing the Marine Nationale series, this time featuring the Tier 7 French battleship Lyon. But first of all, thank you very much for tuning in the video. I really appreciate it, and I hope you will enjoy your time here. Long time no see, isn't it? I am more or less able to edit videos again, and even though I cannot play the game or stream it yet, I can still upload some episodes featuring games I had before my actual break. I am glad to finally be with you again, and I will try my best to keep it that way. But without further ado, let's review the details of the ship we are about to sail in. The Lyon boasts a tremendous armament of 16 340mm guns in a 4x4 turret configuration with a top range of 18.6 kilometers, making it the only ship in the game carrying that many guns. She reaches a maximum speed of 27 knots with a turning circle of 700 meters. Her anti-air defense system is rated 65. Her surface detection is 15.4 kilometers, and the armor thickness goes from 12 to 409 millimeters. On paper, this battleship does not sound very tanky compared to some of her contemporaries, but she makes it up by sheer volume of firepower. We'll get back to these points after reviewing our modules and commander skills. For the upgrades I've installed, we have Main Armament Modification 1, Damage Control System Modification 1, Aiming System Modification 1, and Damage Control System Modification 2. For my commander, Preventive, Maintenance, Expert Marksman, AR, Superintendent, Vigilance, and Fire Prevention. But that is enough of these descriptions. We have a good fight ahead of us, so without further ado, let's take the Lyon to battle. Que la bataille commence. Here we are, on the map Estuary, Standard Battle. We have spawned on the northwest part of the map, and we are heading our way towards an area I really like to play around on this specific map. Would it be in a cruiser or a battleship? Not especially a destroyer, but definitely in a cruiser at least. And regardless of the battle mode, the Delta 3 square provides some really good cover to set up and shoot over. As a battleship in that situation, the couple of islands at Delta 3 are going to act as a very good landmark to differentiate where you should and should not be early game, almost like a life or death line. Staying north of this D-line means that you can decide whether you want to engage or not, all the while being still quite aggressive and active. Going south of this point means that you're engaging in a very involved push, and it can be very dangerous if you're not careful. I'm insisting on that point because I'd like you to pay attention to my positioning throughout the game and get an idea on how I'd like to use the terrain and cover to make myself a lower interest target while still being very active and engaged. As an example here, I got detected quite early. Nothing special since the Lyon has a very poor concealment, but after taking a salvo on the Charles Martel and landing 3000 damage, I'm going to drop in and out of concealment thanks to these islands at Delta 3 I was previously talking about. And my plan is working out well. I have very good visuals on every enemy ships in the area, and we're actually going to find the culprit of our earlier detection. Enemy Farragut is spotted, and I immediately open fire. He has no idea where the shells are coming from, and yep, that's going to hurt. 4 overpens and a full pen for 6000 points of damage, crippling the Farragut of around half his health pool. As you could see here, I was slowing down to 1/4 speed to see if I could try and maintain my stealthy spot, but I got greedy and wanted to try and secure the kill on the Farragut. Instead, I open up on the Algerie that is showing quite the broadside. Friendly New Orleans manages to destroy the enemy destroyer, and I am glad I could assist on that kill that early in the game. Algeria beached herself, trying to evade our shots. I got to say that it is kinda scary to see 16 shells hurling your way, but I will get back to the guns and their performances a bit later on in the game. But here, perfect. That is exactly the position I want to hold. Undetected, able to send volleys over islands directly in the unexpecting enemy's broadsides. I haven't pointed out that we are in a tier 8 matchmaking. Pretty okay for the Lyon, but there is a couple of ships we really need to be careful about. The Lyon, after a couple of games to build an opinion, is not really a good brawler compared to, for example, the Tirpitz we just shot at. The gun angles are not very comfortable, and the second you open your broadside, you're going to get heavily punished. The lack of side armor makes it difficult to get away with even the slightest of broadside, but this ship is not designed to rush in anyway. It is a sit-back, second-line support battleship with an insane firepower and alpha strike that is able to seriously injure any ships by sheer volume of fire. That's why I chose to stay protected, behind cover, early game. I want to be able to use the full potential of my artillery without having to worry about my own safety, and in order to keep the enemies unaware of my presence, most of all. We are kind of outnumbered on this west side of the map. New Orleans, Aigle, Akatsuki and I facing a Tirpitz, another Lyon, a previously spotted Fiji and an Algeria in the back. And this proud Charles Martel right here. Look at this. He thought he was safe. He was angling towards the ship he could see, but not me, unfortunately for him. And our volley landed for 20,000 points of damage with 2 citadels, ruining the tier 8 cruisers game not even 5 minutes in. Another salvo in the air. Martel realizes her mistake and tries to disengage, but we've hit her so hard that a couple more hits and she will go down, which she does. And we secure our very first and well-deserved frag of the game. I could not ask for a better position, and I'm rather lucky that our Akatsuki is keeping all these targets spotted for us to keep shooting at. So far, our team is doing okay. We assisted on the destruction of the Farragut, and the second and last enemy DD, a Fubuki, got taken out earlier on, so the enemy team doesn't have any more destroyers. That is fantastic news. Torpedo threats are reduced greatly, and I can fully focus on that flank now. Very nice salvo on the enemy Lyon. 11,000 additional points of damage on his flat broadside, but now I am detected, and that is going to give me quite the interesting piece of intel. It is impossible for the ships in front of me to directly spot me even while shooting. That means an enemy ship is directly south of my position, and considering the minimap, it has to be the Fiji. And yep, the British cruiser is detected, and even though I could have engaged her, I want to keep the fire on the Lyon. Our teammates are having a hard time delaying the enemy's battleship push. I need to try and support them the best I possibly can. Another big salvo, actually. Another 12,000 points of damage. This is a good example of what happens when you show the slight side in this ship. I'm also taking some return fire, but nothing near what I'm able to dish out so far. But I need to start focusing on that Fiji now. She somehow closed in enough so I could spot her from proximity, and she decides to smoke up the second I start turning the guns. But it's not really going to work out for her at all. We are able to pinpoint her exact position through the smoke, and 6 out of the 16 of our shells make contact with 2 citadels. That was around 23,000 points of damage. That Fiji must be hurting real bad now. And we managed to get our Confederate and break the 100,000 barrier already. So far, as you can see, I haven't really left the Delta 3 area, and I'm still playing around the islands and enemies' positions to remain undetected as long as possible. Unfortunately, we lost the Akatsuki on this flank, and the Aigle and New Orleans are falling back, allowing the Tirpitz, Lyon and Algeria backing them up to pressure even more the 1-2 line. The situation is starting to get quite uncomfortable since it is now a 3 versus 4. Fiji decides to open up, allowing me to send yet another blind volley into her smoke. 16 shells in the air again, one of them has to hit, right? And yes, a citadel and a second kill. Fiji is taken care of, pretty important as well, since she would have been able to damage me quite extensively while I would be trying to angle against the Lyon and Tirpitz. Our Aigle messed up his retreat and got taken out by the Tirpitz secondary fire, making the situation even worse since these battleships can now roam freely without having to deal with torpedo threats anymore. But now I have to make a choice. I'm in the open seas, my cover is blown, and kiting these battleships away is going to take forever and might even result in my own demise. Our New Orleans is doing the kiting. That might entice the Lyon and Tirpitz to turn north and get all guns firing on our friendly cruiser. If I make a hard turn right now and rotate my guns, I will be able to keep a very nice but extremely aggressive position on their broadside. It might either work out or instantly designate me as their priority target, but I'm willing to take the risk. So, rotating the guns, I realize Algeria is also still around and engaging me from long range. I have to assess the biggest threats first. Tirpitz and Lyon are too focused on New Orleans, and they are not paying attention to me. Perfect. I decide to fully commit on destroying the French battleship first, since he's the lowest health-wise, and after a couple of well-placed sequential shots, we are able to take him out. I instantly watch the Tirpitz's guns, and since he's still not interested in me, I can focus on the Algeria that just set me on fire twice, now on full damage control cooldown. The French cruiser is a very dangerous opponent, able to kite away quite efficiently while spamming high explosive from maximum range, but I'm hoping I'll get lucky enough with my dispersion to land proper salvo, and if not, hope that at least some shells will hit out of the goddamn 16 this ship is able to send downrange. And this is kinda bad. 2 fires burning on me now. Even though my heal is almost available, I need to end this fight as soon as possible. Another salvo. Algeria is evading, but there is just too much steel incoming on her. We managed to land 6,000 points of damage and a high caliber achievement. I'm extremely lucky that the Tirpitz is tunneled on our New Orleans. I'm showing him an awful lot of broadside, and his secondaries are not opening either, even though he is definitely in range. Algeria reached the border. Her engine power is reduced, and she tries to make a break for it, but exposes her broadside doing so. Lead is perfect, shells are on target, and we score a citadel and our 4th kill of the game. Hold on, New Orleans, hold on as much as you possibly can. This Tirpitz is going down, and he'll go down from my guns. The German warship could have taken me out a couple of times already, but his mistake is going to cost him his life and give me my Kraken unleashed. Whew! The flank is finally cleared. We managed to defend our grounds, and look where I'm at. Still around the Delta 3 area. You guys could call me a camper, but never would I have been able to do what I just did if it wasn't for that specific spot and the perfect counter it gave me on the enemy's progression. Even though our base is getting captured by an enemy Duca d'Aosta, I am pretty confident that our allies on the eastern flank, that actually done a great job pushing the enemies back into their spawn, can fall back and secure it for me. My plan is now to push directly into the enemy's cap and hit them from behind. I still have 3 heals left and should be able to recover enough HP to get me back in the fight. Let's talk about what we witnessed here while we are setting towards our goal. The gun performance on this ship is kind of a funny contrast. The Lyon suffers the same accuracy or dispersion issues the Dunkirk or Normandy can have. If you guys watched the previous episode of this series, you know the struggle I had to go through. But it doesn't feel that way in the Lyon. I might be repeating myself, and it makes kind of an obvious sense, but no matter how bad your dispersion is, 16 guns are going to score hits. Oh, enemy Algeria is spotted, trying to fall back from the eastern push, but yeah, at this point, there is no escaping me. Enemy Duca is spotted, our base is safe, I'm pretty sure. salvo is out, and that is going to be a relatively easy kill on the French cruiser. Duca is destroyed, and this is basically an assured victory now. Although, that is when things don't go as good as I planned and my luck ran out. Before she dies, Algerie sets me on fire, and I'm hesitant at first to repair it. I'm safe, no one can engage me so far, and I decide to repair it. I am setting up to prepare and engage the enemy Normandy in the enemy's base, and here, literally seconds after our damage control active time runs out, torpedoes sent by the dead Algerie scores a hit on my bow, causing a flood and sealing my fate. Yeah, a bit of a shame, but I guess a good karma after all we got away with. Algerie was a quick reaction, and that is a good play from her. At this point, I do not doubt on the success of my teammates, and indeed, a couple of minutes later, we achieve a victory. Over 160,000 points of damage dealt, 4,000 XP earned, and 450 credits gained. We've achieved Confederate, Kraken Unleashed, and High Caliber, scoring 6 citadels and 6 kills. I really enjoyed reviewing this game just because of how I used the terrain to my advantage. I feel like most of the time, battleship captains tend to prefer open seas and standard gunplay, not really minding their position as long as they can shoot other targets. And I wanted to try and educate a different, more rewarding playstyle, using map awareness and trying to get the best out of your ship in the process. I do hope you've enjoyed the game and learned something out of it, even though the footage is a bit old and the meta of the game might have changed ever since. Well, people, we are reaching the end of this episode. Thank you very much for watching it thoroughly, and if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you did not, thumbs down. But stay tuned anyway. As always, there is more content to come about World of Warships. I am so glad to be back on the saddle and back to making these fully edited episodes, and I hope I can keep it that way as long as I possibly can. So, until next time, you have a good one, and you take it easy.